I love it when the first thing on the stream is device is not available. Hi everybody. Hopefully now you can see me and hear me. Welcome to Freeform Friday. I'm so sorry about last night. I have nothing to say except for the fact that it was just a whole lot of nope that happened. So, happy to be back here with you all tonight for Freeform Friday. So, I have thoughts about doing the project I was supposed to do last night, which I'm going to show you because I'm actually like throwing things at Carol. The pin's out. Oh, hi Corvus. I was actually really excited about this project, and I'm sad that my brain decided that it was going to have a nope moment yesterday, because I was really excited to do this for you. So the genesis of this particular project that I was supposed to do last night, and I'll get to why I'm not doing it tonight in just a few minutes, but the whole idea of this project is that for a long time, I mean, you know, not like it did. Brain said violently nope. There was, yeah, violently nope. But for a long time, I'm talking a solid dozen years or so, I've wanted to do a necklace that was just bezel set gemstones going all the way around the neck. So the problem with this is that, hi Smee, is that is, first of all, a fairly significant commitment in materials. I mean, especially if you're doing it in sterling, you need enough sheet to cover the back of the stone, you need bezel wire, you know, you need soldered rings. The sheet being the most, like the flat sheet on the back, that's the most cost prohibitive part of it. So finally, it occurred to me after 12 years, hey, why do I have to make this thing all at once? Why can't I make it in sections? And so these bezels are not actually soldered, like they're not connected with soldered rings, which some real jewelers, quote unquote, would get on me for. But I decided that I would rather eventually have my necklace than have real jewelers think that I did it right. So the idea last night was I was going to make a couple more links to go here, and then maybe in a couple more months I'll make a couple more links. So as I'm adding to my necklace, then I would, you know, shorten my chain by the amount that I'm adding. Can use my cut off chain links to do earrings, or I could wire wrap them together to make a wire wrap necklace, to make a bracelet. So that was the concept of last night's project, which, like I said, I was really excited about, but brain said nope, 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 much nope, all of the nope. So I was like, okay, cool. I can do this project on Friday because it's freeform, except no, because someone called with a soldering emergency, which, to be fair, I have actually had this order for over 2 months, and I have been putting this person off and not returning her calls like I should have. So, of course, I finally bite the bullet today, and I'm like, okay, I need to talk to this woman. And she's like, oh, well, I'd really love to pick them up on Monday. Like, oh. Okay. And now that's what I'm doing tonight. So I've got several things. I've got basically 3 sets, 1 single piece, and then 2 sets actually for her daughter. So I have this pretty piece of abalone that I'm going to set in a bezel. And she wants a completely closed back sterling bezel, which is unfortunate because I don't have enough sheet sterling to do that. So I am going to Frankenstein together 2 sterling discs to see if I can make that work for the back of that. Then she's got these pieces of ruby and kyanite, and these are getting done in gallery wire bezels. And since I don't have any sheet silver, what I'm going to wind up doing is soldering some silver wire to make a seat on this that these will sit on, so that I can then set them in the gallery wire. And then I have these 3 really freaking cool pieces of merlinite that she wants in a plain bezel, so I'm going to be using my stepped bezel for that. I'm going to have to do some modifications of that with my sanding discs, and I have nowhere near the amount of supplies in front of me that I'm going to need to do this. So I'm definitely going to be, you know, running back and forth. Also, it's supposed to be raining here this evening, and like every joint from my waist down hurts, and I'm not a fan at all in any way of this achy thing that's going on. Like, it's not my achy breaky heart, it's my achy breaky back and hips and knees. My ankles are okay. My toes don't hurt. I guess that's a plus, right? So let's talk about all of this nonsense. They are really pretty gemstones. Okay, so first of all, I think I have another one of those in my thing here. Yes, they are Corvus, because I am old. I am elderly. Okay, I do have another one, so yay. And also, unfortunately, my former career as a professional dancer is coming home. Why? Why do you keep doing that? Nobody cares about that frame. Yeah, my former career as a professional dancer, unfortunately, in my 40s, is coming home to roost. So, as Indiana Jones said, it's not just the years, it's the mileage. Because yes, I did consistently and repeatedly and on purpose abuse my joints for, you know, basically since I was 5 until I was about 30. So, hi Shaquille. I was a professional concert modern dancer. I worked with several respectable dance companies in both Houston and Chicago before I retired at age 25, though I continued on into my 30s dancing with friends, just not with professional companies. Okay, so I think I can make this work. This is what okay, so we're starting with this, we're going to start with this. So what I got to do is I got to Frankenstein together some silver to make a back for this. And the fun thing here, of course, is that the silver discs that I have are not the same size. If they were the same size, it would be easier, but they're not, so that's okay. We know how to problem solve here on the Beading Dreams stream. I do want to make sure that I give myself some extra space around that bezel so that I'm not cutting it so fine, which means that I need a Sharpie. Well, that's a ballpoint pen. That does not do the same thing as a Sharpie. It's another ballpoint pen. Heather, why do I have so many ballpoint pens and so few Sharpies? I know.
Because Sharpies go away here.
It's true. I'm the one who pretty much always makes them go away. Schmother is here. It's me. She's
Hello.
on the other side. She just, since it's not a sales stream, she doesn't have to be on camera. So we're not forcing her to be on camera.
I'm secret.
She is. She's stealthy Schmother today. Okay, I think that's probably best. So those are where my cut lines are going to be. Smee says hello.
Oh.
Alright, and okay, so that's where my cut line is going to be. Here's hoping that this works, because this is literally all the silver that I have. Oh my, ouch. I hate my knees and they hate me.
I like your song.
Thanks. I just wish it was about something else.
Yeah.
Oh! Amy, any updates on the dead body beneath your ex house? Unless there's a new dead body that I didn't know about, which is possible. Also, I don't know why there's pink on my metal shears, but we're not asking that question right now. So I'm just going to cut. So ideally, in my brain, what's going to happen here is I'm going to be able to solder these two together like that, and then I'll be able to cut out the shape that I need. So the first thing I need to do before I can solder them is I need to flatten them. So once again, please see earlier comment about me not having anywhere close to the number of tools I need to do this. So I'm going to start by grabbing, oh my god, that's heavy, a bench block and a mallet. We're going to start by grabbing a bench block. I really need to come up with a better situation for storing my hammers. Hi, Sophia.
Yes. Everything okay?
Yes. I mean, my knee hurts, but that doesn't have anything to do with the hammers.
Well, that's
right?
good.
No. The hammer fell on Esther's bag of change, so you know, there was plenty there to
A lot of noise.
yeah, but there was plenty there to, you know, handle the weight of the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna flatten this, and then I am gonna have to file it. It's, at least I didn't get nailed. Sophia is not wrong. Also, Sophia, Dr. Megan, sent me the most hilarious thing, which I am gonna post in Discord, like right now. And Sophia, you're gonna laugh. I hope. I laughed, and other people laughed with me.
It's true.
Shaquille, you can ask your deep question whenever. Okay, so it's posted up in Beading Dreams chat. It's specifically for the Wisconsinites among you, which is pretty much just Sophia. Go for it, Shaquille. Also, yes. So my aunt is working on cleaning my grandmother's kitchen because she is in care for the moment because she broke her arm. And so she sent me a photo of McCormick beef base. Expires July 17, 2013. Sophia, I think it's socials with an S. And what is my hair doing? And so that'll give you our, there we go. Yep, bingo. So yeah, that's our Facebook, our Insta, our YouTube, and our TikTok. I have not posted anything new on TikTok in the past week or so because reasons, but I'm working on it. I actually have a very special TikTok that I'm going to post as soon as I get this very special project out the door, but unfortunately have not gotten said special project out the door yet. So I am going to, no, Allison, that's not what anybody wants to see either. That was a project from like last week. Oh, also, I haven't even done any samples for this upcoming week, so you know that's gonna be fun tomorrow when my mom starts texting me at 6 a.m. asking me if I've sent her the class information. So I did not a bad job. I'm gonna just like pat myself on the back a little bit. I did a pretty good job of cutting these straight. So all I need to do is just smooth them down so that I'm not dealing with the burrs left by the wire cutter. So Sophia, when do you get to move to the not quite so frozen tundra? Oh, Lori, if only. And then, oh, horror of horrors, I sent her a document last week that had errors in it. Oh my god!
What?
Yes. Exclamation point Discord. And then and then there were several mistakes, which were all pretty easy to figure out, but of course by the time she found the second one, then she was just pissed. So then she was just sending me random inquiries about every single thing. Like, did you mean to spell this word this way? Like, really? You know, just...
The snark is strong with that one.
Yeah, well, the snark is strong here. Also, just bragging on my Carol, so that asshole who gave us the 1-star review yesterday, who I absolutely raged on Google, and no, I'm not sorry about it, but she went and she stalked his account, and after he gave us our 1-star review, he 1-star reviewed like 4 other businesses with nasty reviews as well. And so she reported him for being mean and abusive. And I thought that was pretty amazing.
It is.
But it wasn't just us, but oh my god, it was just so many different kinds of powder keg yesterday. Like, there were so many different things going on with me yesterday. Starting with, okay, I didn't get to tell you guys this because there was no stream, because I noped out, but Elton escaped in the morning. I mean, I got up, I fed Elton and Mamie, I let Mamie out, so Mamie goes out. Elton's not currently allowed to go out because I don't have confidence that he will return unto the house like Mamie does. And I'm sitting in bed, like, doing my usual, like, I'm gonna scroll through Facebook for a minute, and then I've got a crap ton of stuff I have to do this morning, but before I have to get to work. And all of a sudden I'm like, where's Elton? It's too quiet. It's very quiet in this house. Like, Elton is a very talky cat. And so I go to the cat door, and it looks like this. Because his half-ass busted out of the house. Yeah, so then it was a Let's Try to Find Elton festival for a while. He did eventually, by the way, come back. But yes, yesterday was a lot in so many ways. Oh, no, you didn't, Amy. Did he take his soda light with him? Just wondering. Okay, so now I'm going to try to solder these together to create 1 piece of silver from 2 pieces of silver. And since this is going to be my back plate, I really do want this to, like, actually be, like, pretty sturdy. So, I'm going to use, if I have any over here, medium solder. If I don't, I'm going to go get some medium solder. Because I really do want this to hold up to all the heat I'm going to put on it when I do the rest of my soldering. Alright, I don't see any medium over here, so once again, BRB. Okay, I have returned with medium solder. It is a BB droid. Mary's not wrong. She very rarely is wrong, actually. I mean, I can post a link in the chat. It's just gonna take me a sec. Hey, look, I am live, Twitch. Good for you. So did you get it, Sophia, or do I need to post it in the chat? Okay, which one are you? Are medium? I hate this captcha images because I'm so bad at them. It's like, no, I promise I'm not a robot. Like, I swear I'm not. But You don't seem to agree with me, and I want to know what makes me a robot. Okay, so now I'm going to flux this and cut myself some solder, line it up, and then I'm going to attempt to solder it together. Which means I do need a tweezers. Also, I don't know why it doesn't want to focus. I don't want to put it down on the paper because I don't want to start things on fire. I've done that on stream before, and it's never good for anybody involved. So let's just see for a second. So yesterday was something weird ass going on with like the cosmos yesterday, because there's a lot of crazy stuff that happened to people I know, including myself, and I am just curious if that was actually, you know, the universe, or if we all just have really, really bad luck. Alright, so we're going to see if we can get that to solder. Good to eat and Heather. Cool. No, Heather is getting the robot to do her bidding by making her food warm.
I just had it. There was no
Alright, so yes, we did get it to solder all the way down. Awesome little BB robot is made. Definitely needs some sanding, but at least it's in one piece, so yay for that. So this is going to be the back piece for my abalone one, and so what I need to do is find someplace I can put this where it's not going to set things on fire, and I feel like that place is going to be right there for the moment. But then I'm going to, whilst that is doing the thing, the cooling down thing, actually, grab my bench block. So this is one of my favorite tricks for cooling things more quickly, because I am terrible about remembering to bring quench water over, is if you put your piece on a stainless steel block, it'll leach the heat away from it much more quickly than if you leave it on your soldering board, and so that it'll get it cool much faster than just leaving it on your solder board. Okay, so meanwhile I'm gonna, oh look, there's already a sanding disc in it, because I'm going to need a sanding disc for a couple of things tonight, this one being one of them, and then my stepped bezel being the other. So I'm gonna get, I feel like that one's on its last leg, so I'm gonna grab a couple more. And I will say that quick change mandrels for sanding discs are one of my favorite things ever invented. So that is that's this right here, where the mandrel that my disc is on, like the disc itself will actually pop off, and I can put a new one on without actually having to remove this from the tool, which, trust me, saves a massive amount of time. Okay, so this is cool enough to touch now, so we're gonna just continue stacking things up in a really precarious fashion, and I'm gonna sand this down, because what I want is to create, ideally, a smooth surface so it doesn't look like I Frankensteined two things together. Also, because friction is a thing, I'm not going to hold that with my fingers. I'm going to hold it in My ring clamp, isn't it, Sophia? It is fabulous. I had to share it. Yes, brandy old fashions. That's what my dad drank when he met my mother. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm just, once again, I'm trying to sand this and make this line disappear. And you can see that my disc is a little worn, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm knocking so many things down, y'all, you have no idea. I'm just going to go ahead and replace this real quick. But yes, for anybody who's never had a Wisconsin Old Fashioned, they're not the same as your traditional Old Fashioned. So if you see the term Wisconsin Old Fashioned on a menu, just be aware that it's going to be really sweet. So, for anybody who just showed up and is wondering what the actual heck I'm doing, I have a client who I've been ducking for a while, and now she wants to pick up her pieces on Monday, and I don't have the materials that I need to make her pieces. So, I am Franken-materialing to see if I can make this work with what I have on hand. So since tomorrow is Saturday, there's literally no way for me to get supplies in order to have her pick up that job on Monday at 1 o'clock. Now, the good news about this is I do know how to solder, I do have a torch, and I did learn a while back that, I'm sorry, I don't know that I can do that on camera anymore. I did learn a while back that, hey, guess what? If you have the ability to solder two pieces of silver together, you can make a bigger piece of silver out of a smaller piece of silver. Okay, so when you're doing your, when you got your quick changes, this is what happens when they're done. So you just pull them off. And you gotta get the little, there's a little brass thing there, you gotta get that off too. And then just pop a new one on. And once again, after several burns, punctures, etc., I am holding this in a ring clamp, not in my fingers. I am slowly but surely learning how not to break myself when I'm doing this. Not always very good at it, but I'm trying. So I'm going to keep standing. Oh, that one didn't last very long at all. Check out the Robo survey. I will on Discord. I know, this sanding is riveting, isn't it? No, it's not riveting, it's sanding. This thing is just like eating my sanding discs. So the cool thing about this is I can actually do more of this refining and sanding after I've got the piece soldered together, and I think that's what I'm gonna do because I don't think you guys want to just watch me sand my little BB droid all night. So I've got it a little bit smoother, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this side, which is the side that I've started to refine, and the side that I'm going to continue to refine. Camera, focus, please, on the thing. Focus on the thing. Maybe? Come on. You can do it. Or you can't do it. That's not a helpful image at all. But anyway, so this, so this smoother side, which I swear is smoother, once I get my camera to focus, you'll be able to see that. That's going to be my back, so I'll just need to do some additional sanding to get that to be smooth. The other part doesn't need to be smooth because that's going to be on the inside. Look at that. Focus, autofocus works, people. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and make the bezel for this. I am going to be using another sanding disc, so I'm going to put one more on here. Maybe. They just snap right on there, but you have to have the little sides lined up. Okay, so the sanding thing is just going to sit there for a minute, and we are going to make the bezel for our little BB droid here. Oh look, there's another benchmark right there. Okay, so now I'm going to need some bezel strip, and this is a very tall piece, and so I'm using some very tall bezel wire to wrap around it, and so I'm just going to follow the shape of that. I actually saw a really great trick on one of my metalsmithing groups the other day, but I wasn't able to get any to try it. But the person in question said that they use double stick carpet tape when they're doing stuff like this, which sounded absolutely brilliant to me, because of course the thing that's the most pain in the neck, especially when you got a shape that's more complicated than an oval, okay camera, nobody likes you right now, is getting the dang thing to stay still while you're trying to bend it. Okay, so there's my cut line. Alright, I think we're gonna have to give up on autofocus, which is a bummer because I like autofocus. Makes life so much easier. Let's see, so how's everybody's day? Anybody do anything exciting? Anybody, murder anybody figuratively on Google reviews? Just, asking for a friend? Okay, that's better. Oh, well, that's a delightful way to start the morning, Mary. I mean, it's okay. I am also fairly goldfishy. Oh, yay! You're moving next Friday morning. That's both exciting and horrifying. Just because I know that moving is horrifying. And also, in the winter in Wisconsin, oof da. Ooh, was it good, Amy? I'm not going to ask you too many details, but I hope that it was a good update. Oh, wow, you're moving, like, all of the South. That's awesome. Like, you're going to be practically in Illinois. That's great. Okay, so now I'm going to take where I marked, and I'm going to cut that, and then we're going to file and solder this together. Caledonia. Well, still, that's way better further south than where you've been living. Alright. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to give this a quick file, especially since I did not really do a great job on that cut. You can see it's extremely angled, so let's just go ahead and fix that. Header, Sophia says hold her beads because she's moving.
Okay.
She's moving further away from Canada. Okay, so there, that looks fairly decent. I may have given it a little bit of a curve. There is a header. The header is eating, and since it's not a sales stream, she technically doesn't have to be on camera, so she's a voice only header. Sophia, Lori is volunteering to hold your beads for you. It is. It's header voiceover. She's like the Morgan Freeman of the Beading Dream stream.
Who's asking?
Sophia.
Oh.
Okay, so this is where we're gonna say Allison was way too big for her britches when she thought that maybe she could make 7 pieces on stream tonight. So we're just gonna see how far I can get on this one, and which is gonna leave me a crap ton of work to do tomorrow, but that's a problem for tomorrow, because I also have a crap ton of different work to do tonight. Which might mean I'm going to come in and do a crap ton of work on Sunday. Well, Corvus, I know you don't mind. I feel like other people on the stream might have other things they want to do with their evening. Also, as previously stated, I have a crap ton of work that's due tomorrow. This work isn't due till Monday, so this is absolutely what we're calling triaging the emergency situations partly caused by me noping out of everything last night. Okay, so there's my bezel, and my joint is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and solder that together, and I'm going to try and use my medium solder to solder it together, just because I'm going to have to put a hella lot of heat on this to get it to zip to the back plate, and I don't want this bezel exploding on me when I do that. This may be a bad call, okay? I may wind up melting this bezel whilst trying to solder it together. So, you know, stay tuned. So I cut a giant ass piece of solder, as you can see, because I really want this thing to work. Okay, so I've got my bezel joint on top of my solder, so I'm going to try and zip that solder up into my bezel. See if it works. Just heating my entire bezel with my torch, and you can see that solder there. So if it does actually zip up into the bezel, it should be fairly dramatic. Trying to heat everything to the point where it's not a heat sink, but I don't want to melt anything except for the solder, of course. Okay, so the solder went, but it didn't go into the bezel. It went to the side here, which is annoying. So I'm going to see if I can pull it across, which I actually mostly successfully did. There, yes. Aha! I'm victorious. Not necessarily the prettiest joint I've ever done, but it is together, and that is why the gods of soldering made sandpaper. Or the gods of whomever made sandpaper. But this is why sandpaper exists. Okay, if you want us to stream for 3 hours, someone has to send us food and margaritas. Or at the very least, pizza and whiskey. Just saying. Oof. Okay, so I'm going to take my bezel, and once again, I'm going to, well, see, I don't know where you can actually get pizza and whiskey from the same place. But Papa John's does a solid gluten-free pizza, and Papa John's also does a solid non-gluten-free pizza. So no 30-day stream. Okay, hold on. How did we even go from like 3 hours to 30 days?
So quick, actually.
I wouldn't. Yeah, that's a lot, y'all. That's a lot of days. That's a lot of hours. I mean, wow. 3-hour tour. Also, hi Pam. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and find the offending piece of abalone here. Have I seen the 30-day stream? I have not. Okay, but Corvus. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and form that around our stone. And it's okay for us to do this without dental floss or anything because there's no back on this right now. So we can just... Oh! So, alright, so now I'm going to grab some sandpaper and I'm going to smooth that down a bit. I'm going to try not to scratch my stone while I'm doing it. We've missed you, Pam. How are you? Let's see. So yes, Elton took a walkabout yesterday, which started my day off on a stressful note. And then things didn't get any better.
I would argue they went in another direction.
Yeah. But it did really feel good. Clapping back at that asshole on Google, like... Anyway. Okay, so once again... Oh, hey, you know what? Hi, Silvern! Oh, thank you, Corvus. I like to think so. I hope I was, you know, not completely asshole-ish and unreasonable, unlike the original poster. This was like, dude, like, legit, actually. The first time he called, Diane had COVID, and now she is in Boston being with her mom because her stepdad is dying. Like, I used to work so much harder to please people like that when I was younger, and the older I get, I'm just like, you know what? You can take your assholeness and you can take your stupid repair that nobody really wants to work on anyway, that's going to cost you like $15, and you can go find someone else to do it. And hashtag spoiler alert, it's actually going to be really hard for him to find someone else to do that. Because it's a pretty specialized repair. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad that your mom went home. This is a good thing, right? I'm assuming it's a good thing because you started with good. Yes, my aunt, bless her heart, has been dealing with my grandmother who fell and broke her arm, and dealing with finally she had to send her to interim care because it was just too much. And I think she made a good decision. Personally, I know she's somewhat, she's still having some thoughts about it, but I think it's the best thing for everybody. And not surprisingly, after giving everyone in the family hell about, he has not picked up the necklace yet, Silver, not as far as I know. We'll see if he has the stones to come do it. Because not only did I clap back on Google, I also left him a voicemail that said pretty much exactly the same things that I said in that review response. But yeah, she is temporarily in, it's not rehab necessarily, it's assisted living with physical therapy. Because she just can't, with her broken arm, she just can't, you know, get around and deal with all the stuff that happens when you're, you know, living by yourself. Okay, so now this is, alright, so this is something I didn't think about, which is this little bump here, from soldering the two of them together. Okay, that's gonna mess up my soldering on my bezel, so I'm gonna have to do some of that sanding. But you know what, I'm gonna get a coarser sanding disc. That smells good.
It is quite good.
Sorry I had no buns.
No, I got plenty of buns.
Interesting. I will search that, Pam. I don't know. I feel like I could set up a camera for my cats. Just record them for 30 days. I think that would be a fun stream. Alright, back to sanding. Sorry, y'all. Yay. Okay, now back to sanding. Funny, because the sanding disc is kind of making the sound my brain made when I saw that asshole's review.
Complete with smoke and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Smoke and smelling of burny things.
The hellfire to come.
No, Tiff's Treats has no gluten-free options. It's true. But seriously, y'all don't have to send us food because I'm not streaming for 3 hours. Like, I have other stuff work related that has to get done tonight. And no offense, y'all, but I really want to do it in my pajamas, which are not here. Okay, the good news is I think I managed to at least fix this sanding thing. So what we've got now, and you can tell on a project like this, you can tell when you've mostly succeeded because the line is pretty much gone. So now we're going to see, did I in fact sand this flat enough to successfully zip a bezel onto it? And I honestly don't know what the answer to that question is. So, like I said, we're gonna see. Aw, thank you, Smee. Cookies are love, but just being here is also love. So, when you've made a bezel, after you've formed it around your stone, you want to be really, really careful when you're handling it? That's not a word. Handling it, because it's very squishy, and if you squish it out of shape even a little bit, your stone ain't gonna fit in it. And that, friends, is sadness and awful treason, lies and horribleness. It's bad. I'm sure you've done it. You know how bad it is. Okay, and I think I am gonna rotate this so that the seam is not on the part that's potentially problematic. So I've got it so that all of my bezel is on my metal. There's not a whole lot around the outside, which is fine. Now I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna go ahead and I am just gonna jump the shark here, and I'm gonna go from medium solder to extra easy solder. If I can find some extra easy solder. What are you? Ah, you're extra easy solder. I swear, we are, okay, so we are at some point in the near-ish future going to be dark because we are getting a new streaming table, or more precisely, we're getting this streaming table rebuilt, recycled, reinforced is actually the word I'm looking for, and hopefully when we put it back together, it'll be a little bit less scary in terms of organization. That's my goal. Alright, so I'm cutting 4 decently sized pieces of solder, and I'm going to position them at the 4 compass points around my bezel. Oh, that's awesome! Pam, when's your son getting married? We had a lovely mother of a groom come in today whose friend is getting, or not whose friend, whose son is getting married tomorrow. And she bought herself 2 very pretty necklaces. One to wear tonight to the rehearsal dinner, and one to wear tomorrow to the wedding. So it sounded like she might wear them both to the rehearsal dinner. Because they looked really good together. They looked really good layered. Okay. So now we're going to see if I can get this to zip together. Everybody pray for me. So I'm going to heat it. My flux is going to go do the fizzy thing that it likes to do. I should have some kind of a poking instrument in my hand just in case I need it. And I should actually have that in my right hand because that's my dominant hand. And so now what's going to happen is I'm going to work on heating the back plate. So the whole point behind me using medium solder for that joint is that hopefully I'll be able to get this extra easy to flow without busting either this apart or my bezel apart. That may or may not work just because there is so much metal here, but we are going to give it the old college try. Alright, so I did get that to flow. Unfortunately, it flowed up the bezel. So what we kind of need to do is we need to try and get it down so that it's touching the back plate so it'll zip the bezel down. And this is where, of course, all the difficulties typically come in. Alright, well that flowed, which is good. Good concept. Come on. Just zip part of it down, please. But sometimes if you can just get it started, if you can just get part of it to go, then you can kind of coax the rest of it along. But if you can't even get it started, this is where things start to get cursy. So I think I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to add a little bit more solder. Oh, that's awesome. That sounds delightful. Come on. Alright, let's try again. This may not work. Like, I'm just letting y'all know there is a solid chance that this might fail. Because this is a big old piece of metal. Okay, that's good. Haha, okay. We have some zippage. Just need to pull it around. Okay, and people who are way better at this than me can do this with like one piece of solder, which is the like insane witchery. I cannot do it. I can't zip a bezel with only one piece of solder. I'm not that good. I never have been, and I may never be that good. I mean, that's definitely like goals, but unfortunately, I got so much other stuff occupying my time and energy that I'm just gonna pretty much continue being the self-trained hack that I've always been. But we've got some zipping here, which is great. Okay, so I've got my bezel pretty firmly attached. You can kind of see that solder. There's a whole pile of it in there, but there's also some that's flowing under the bezel, which is great. That's exactly what I want. And so I've got this top part is zipped pretty securely. I'm not surprisingly having a little bit of problem here where I've got my join where there's that differential in height, but now I've got some zipping down here as well, which is amazing and freaking fantastic. So yeah, and so I know that zipped because I can see it. I can see it on the opposite side of my bezel. Now I want to see if I can get this off of here before it sticks. Awesome! Ready for being over to ocean. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to cool this off, and then we're going to see where our problem areas are on this. So I'm going to grab my block again and just drop this on here. Well, yay, that sounds freaking fantastic, and I hope that you guys have the best time. And another way to see where the problem areas are, which is what I'm going to do because it's also going to make my job easier, is I'm going to trim the bezel. So I can definitely see right here where once again where that joint is. Like, you can clearly see light through there, so that is a problem area. The rest of it looks not bad though, so I'm excited about this. So I'm going to grab my metal shears once this is cool enough to touch, which isn't quite yet, and I'm gonna cut, oops, I'm gonna whack the heck out of my camera, goodness. Okay, chill, just relax, it's okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut that bezel. Alright, I may have to drop this, but I'm just going to take my shears and I'm going to cut away the metal that's around the outside of that bezel. And you hear lots of crackling. That's the flux residue coming off. Here, I'll move this so I've got a little bit more room so I can actually get this under the camera. And I'm definitely going to refine this with files and sandpaper, but for the moment, what this is going to do is it's going to give me a really good kind of view into where does my bezel need some help. So the answer is here. You can see you can see light through there, so I need to add a little bit more solder there. And that's actually just this entire top half. So this whole area here needs a little bit more work. But cutting that extra, it does kind of look like an ocean scene, it's true. Cutting that extra metal off is actually going to make it easier for me to move the solder because there's not as much of a heat sink action going on. And once again, if I were a really good metalsmith, I'd be able to do this with just the solder that's there, but that ain't me. So I'm adding one more piece of solder, then I'm going to push right up against there. Alright, and then we're going to try and fill in all of this semicircle that is missing solder. It is not attached to the back piece. But since there's less metal on it, it is going to heat up faster, and hopefully it'll make that zipping much easier. There we go. Yes, zip, zip, zip. Awesome, way, way better. I just need a couple more pieces of solder because I have a couple pieces that are actually not connected. So I'm going to try and do that thing I always say don't do, but sometimes it works. I'm going to try and fill them in with solder because it does sometimes work. We instructors just tell you that it doesn't to keep you from cheating. And also because a lot of times it doesn't work. Sometimes, if you can get it in just the right spot, yeah, surface tension will bond it to the solder that's next to it, and you can get it to make that bridge. Yes! Haha! Did it. Boom. Okay, so then the last thing I need to do on stream tonight, because then this is going to go in my tumbler and get cleaned up, and then I'm going to do all the sanding and refining on this, is I need to make a bail or a method to attach this onto a necklace. So let's see, free moving bail was what was requested, and I actually kind of have fallen in love with the technique that I used on my project that I didn't get to do yesterday, which is actually taking a soldered ring, hammering it flat, and then soldering it on the back. And then putting another ring on it. Like, I just like that look. I think it looks really cool. So I think I'm going to do that, which means I need to grab 2 soldered rings. And you can actually do this with a jump ring as well, or with just a piece of wire that you've bent into a half circle. So I'm going to go ahead and hammer one of these flat. Yeah, that'll work. so. Alright, so now I have a flat ring. And then I do need to attach my soldered ring onto that, so I am going to make a cut in that ring. I'm just going to cut that. Use my pliers to thread my soldered ring on there. And then this part here is what's going to get soldered onto my piece. So I'm going to take my piece, I'm going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to sweat. Can I touch you? Kind of. Okay, I'm going to sweat some solder onto the back where I want that ring to be, which for me is going to be right there. So I'm just going to flux that because it's really dirty, so you want to make sure you got flux on there, otherwise nothing is going to stick. And it would be really great if I had just one more piece of easy or extra easy solder. I do. How exciting. Okay, so I've got flux on there. I've got one more piece of solder. I'm going to drop that on there, and then I'm going to sweat that solder. I mean, I'm going to heat it until it melts. I'm still using extra easy because, once again, I don't want to destroy all of this work that I've done. I just want to melt that piece of solder. Okay, it could have come over a little bit more, but I think we can still make this work. I'm going to take my tweezers, because remember, all of this is hot, hot, very hot. And we're just going to drop that flattened ring onto the back of our piece. You want to make sure that you've got some overhanging, and you want to make sure that this ring here is not going to get soldered on, because you want that to be free floating. So it's going to take me a minute to get this positioned. Actually, sometimes, but you want to make sure that you find that cut, and that's the part that you solder down. There. Okay, so this is what we want here. So now I'm going to turn on my torch, and I'm just going to heat that until that solder flows and bonds my flattened ring onto the back of my piece. There we go. Alright, see that solder flow under there? Wham bam. There we go. So that's it. That's my bezel setting. So yeah, I am not doing 6 more of these tonight because I'm tired, and like I said, I have a lot of other work to do, but that's my pendant. So this is going to go into my tumbler. It's going to tumble overnight. It's going to get all that crap off of it. And then I'm going to set my abalone in it. And then hopefully tomorrow I'll have time to work, and then I'll try and remember to post in Discord. And hopefully tomorrow I'll have time to work on the other 6, and I can post those in Discord as well. And then hopefully I can give them to my client on Monday, and then hopefully I'll be on to the next fire. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us for Freeform Friday. Again, I'm so sorry that I ditched y'all last night, but I will try not to let it happen again anytime soon. Tomorrow is not a tutorial, don't forget. Tomorrow is a sale only, so I have buried all of my sales stuff in supplies for soldering. So I will unearth all of that, and we will be back on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream at 6:30 with a live sale tomorrow. Okay? Mom's got to make payroll, so let's sell some stuff, all right? Everyone have a great night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.